So, Aaron, you were able to play the latest and greatest ground war map for Call of Duty Modern Warfare. So how did it go? Tell me about this map. Tell me about the layout and your experience with it.
Yeah, so this is the last of the ground war maps. It's in a city, which is awesome. It reminded me of, like the downtown LA map from Battlefield Hardline. And I think because ground war is going to pull in so many people from maybe, the Battlefield franchise or people looking for those bigger maps, this had like kind of everything that I was looking for in one of these maps. So it's a fairly large map. It has skyscrapers, and you can get to the top of almost every building on this map.
That's crazy. That's like the last time I can think of something even close was like a Modern Warfare 3 like DLC map pack, and that map was very cool.
It's super smart. If you give players somewhere to climb to, they're going to want to do it because it's honestly just super fun. So here's how it works. You start on each side, and you head towards the center objectives. All of the objectives are ground floor. I'll talk a little bit about that later. But when you want to get to the roof, almost every building has a stairwell or elevators, and you can zip up the elevators. Once you get on top of the roof, then you'll see people like having tons of sniper duels. The most satisfying moment of my life came when I unlocked a Javelin rocket launcher, which has a top-down attack.
Right. Oh, my gosh.
And I fired it off at a sniper and then was just like, don't see me, don't see me, don't see me. Boom. Oh, honestly, it is so much fun getting on the rooftops. Maybe a little bit too much fun.
Do people tend to swarm the skyscrapers as soon as the game starts? Is that are those the hotspots?
Yeah, you see those classic things like people stealing the helicopters just to get to the roof. But honestly, you don't have to. This is one of the maps where you can get to the rooftops through the interior of the buildings. So I think after a while, players will kind of learn not to do that and leave the helicopters for the more skilled players. On top of the interior spaces on this map, you also have to think a lot more about crossing the street now because there's so many people sniping and so many kill streaks going off. So, look both ways before you cross the street. Now, in terms of the objectives, if you're not on the rooftops, there's a lot of defense going on this map. Particularly in the center C objective where we were at, we took it, and then this is where I think different styles of play will come in. But there's a pretty big incentive to actually hang out and hold objectives, particularly center objectives, and it's a little bit easier to do on this map than the other two maps people have already played, which tend to have very porous center objectives. I thought the center objectives on this map slightly easier to control lanes, and then once you get your kill streaks rolling, you can catch people coming down alleyways as opposed to just being inside and having them come at you from everywhere.
Was there more cover? I felt like it was all open out in the first two.
Yeah, so that's an excellent question. This district map has a lot of interior spaces and a lot more cover, alleyways to duck behind. That impacts vehicle play. It's much easier to get taken out because there's just too many angles to cover in a tank. It's tougher on helicopter pilots, although very satisfying. I got straight sniped out of a chopper. It's probably not quite as good for a lot of the aerial bombardment style kill streaks. So it's better to take something like Sentry Gun or your equipment, the Tactical Insertion Spawn Flare, because you want your team or your squad to be able to keep spawning near an objective you're trying to hold. And the Sentry Guns are just way better at covering things like alleyways.
Good, they're more useful. I felt like before it was kind of a free-for-all, but the TAC insertion also was not unlocked during the beta, so that's really good to hear that it works well in this map.
So the other thing is there's no vehicle customization, which feels like a missed opportunity. They seem afraid to put guns on helicopters, but honestly, they could get away with it. They'd probably be good for cleaning up rooftops. Most players aren't that good anyway at flying, so you'll get a couple of ace god tier pilots, but most people won't get that good. Another issue with ground war, which I think people have noticed, and this is a long running issue in Battlefield, is you never really feel like you have an impact on whether you win or lose. You are enjoying yourself, but you never really have a concept of whether you're impacting the final win-loss ratio. Unless you get the nuke. We know the nuke's in the game. Some people have it.
It's hard to be the star then, it sounds like. I mean, it's just you're just in a swarm of people. I felt that way right away.
The exact opposite of gunfight.
Right.
You're not the star of this show. You're just one soldier in this giant battle. So yeah, that's the new map. It's a city map. We're really curious how people feel in general about ground war. So whether you like this or not really depends on where you're coming from. But the nice thing is this Call of Duty throws a very wide net, and my overall impression is that it's going to have something for old fans, it's going to have something for Counter-Strike fans, it has something for Battlefield fans, tell us where you're coming from, because I think that's really important.
Thank you so much, Aaron. And for more continued coverage of Call of Duty Modern Warfare, keep it right here on GameSpot.